What's up, guys? JT Anime Nerd here, bringing you all that nerdy goodness. Today we continue with my version of the DC Extended Universe slash Snyderverse with my spoiler review of Shazam, which I honestly believe is perfect as is for this universe, despite its happy-go-lucky tone geared toward for kids. Don't forget, Marvel tones have mixed together as well as changed tones for characters before, which works on some occasions. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Oh, I do also want to mention that I am gonna mention a few changes in this review that I plan on implementing into my version of the Snyderverse. I didn't bother to make a full revision because, as well, it didn't seem like there was enough to change to warrant a full revision. So, with all that said and done, let's continue. Let's first talk about the characters. And there ain't no one I want to talk about more than Billy Batson, aka Shazam himself. Zachary Levi couldn't have been better casted as Shazam. He's the perfect blend of seriousness and funny that this character, honestly, I think runs the best with. And while I know a lot of people would say his tone does not fit with Zack Snyder's tone, don't forget, part of a superhero universe is merging tones together, so I think that excuse is out the window. But to put his story simply, Billy's character arc is pretty incredible. He goes from a selfish orphan kid looking for the mother that gave him up to a hero that embraces his new family despite them not having any blood ties at all. I do also want to mention the scene where he reunites with his mom, to whom I can't stress enough how angry I get every time I see it. Not because it's a bad scene, but because the mom has the gall to say it's not a good time to get acquainted with her own child, who is shown in a flashback to have love for. Otherwise, she wouldn't have gone looking for him. I know there will probably be some debate on me saying that in the comments, but she's had years to get her act together, and frankly, the fact that it seems like she hasn't makes Billy giving his mom that compass orb all the more tragic and frustrating. And in case anyone actually would love a follow-up on this, I'm happy to say that I plan on getting back to the plot point of Billy's Earth Mother later in my version of the DC Extended Universe slash Snyderverse. Just not in the movie you would expect. So I hope you're all excited for that part in Shazam's bigger story. Then we have the rest of the Shazam family, who don't get their powers till the end, but do have their moments which makes them likable and get their time to shine. Freddy is definitely the funniest and the coolest side character in this movie. His whole personality on being a superhero fanboy makes him a much cooler hero when he finally gets his powers. Marie gets a little bit of a story arc mentioning involving her worry for leaving her family to go to college. Darla also gets a little mini arc to show how family goes beyond even blood. Meanwhile, the rest are just kind of there for moral and familiar support for the movie, as the character roster is a bit much to give everyone at once a story arc. Eugene Smarts does help track down Billy's mom, and Pedro is just kind of the background member of the family who doesn't get his time to shine until the very end, which I honestly think worked well. Now, of course, we can't talk about the movie without talking about its villain, Savana, who I honestly think is a great parallel to Billy Batson, even if Savana does seem like a typical generic supervillain. Savana was treated horribly by his brother and father, and when he was exposed to the world of magic against his will by the very wizard who gave Shazam his powers, he sought the power of the seven deadly sins in order to take his rage out on his family and then the world. It really shows the parallel on how Billy gained a surrogate family after being let go by his birth family, while Savannah was treated horribly by his own family, turning him into a monster in turn. If I had to say anything about the wizard and the seven deadly sins, I'd say they're good characters, but not much is fleshed out about them other than the quick lore we're presented with, which also hints toward Black Adam, which I will be making a revision for down the line. Now, I do want to give props to the setting of the movie, which I don't remember if the same city is in the comics or not, but I gotta give props for Philadelphia being the main setting of this movie. I've been a Philly kid through and through, and it's just awesome that it's gotten recognition in a superhero movie. What else can I say except fly, Eagles, fly? Now, when it comes to the side characters, they were pretty decent. The foster parents, Billy's mom, Savannah's brother and father, and the bullies did pretty much feel like your typical side characters, but as I mentioned earlier, the side character characters that benefited the movie the most were, of course, the Shazam family, who I cannot stress enough are awesome in that final battle scene. My favorites of the Shazam family are definitely Freddy for his superhero fanboy personality, and Darla for her childish personality mixing with her adult form, which was hilarious. Now let's get on to what was probably the most controversial part of the movie for some fans. The appearance of Superman, which we all know was just a guy in a suit that didn't show his face because WB was too stubborn to bring Henry Cavill back. So for the sake of my version of the story going forward from this review, I'm having Henry Cavill make a full appearance in his black suit from Zack Snyder's Justice League for my version of this movie. Now it's time to get to the post-credit scenes. The first showing Savana in his prison cell trying to open the gateway back to the Rock of Eternity, but can't seem to remember the combination after losing the powers of the Eye of Sin. However, he's then visited by another Shazam villain named Mr. Mind, which I can't help but think about Mr. Mime from Pokemon every time I hear that name. Now, sadly, nothing ever happened with Mr. Mind, even though they brought him back as a joke in the Shazam sequel in their post-credit scene. However, I'm happy to tell you guys that Mr. Mind will play a role in the bigger story, be it a minor but pivotal one though. Now when it comes to the second post-credit scene, they just made it a joke about Aquaman. But for the sake of my version of the DCEU/Snyderverse, I give to you guys my rewrite of that post-credit scene included in this video, which will tie into the main story going forward in my DC Snyderverse story. Enjoy! A second post-credit scene takes place weeks later since Savana's attack, and shows Amanda Waller at Argus headquarters, going through the Argus archives with Rick Flag, who asks what they're even looking for. Amanda states that many weeks ago an energy surge of epic proportions was detected within the city of Philadelphia, to which Rick Flag confirms that he and everyone else knows about this Shazam guy. However, Waller states that an energy surge of a similar fashion was detected many years ago, just a couple of years near World War II, much to Rick's confusion. Amanda then pulls out a file titled JS, which is dated back all the way to the 1940s. As she looks through the pages of the file, Waller seems to find something, and then tells Rick to send out a unit of soldiers. Rick asks to where, which Amanda replies, to Kahndaq. We then see a blurred out photo of a man in black during a storm in a desert city, with the caption reading, Designation, Black Adam. All in all, Shazam is definitely one of DC's better movies within the DC Extended Universe, and I can't wait to share with you guys where Shazam's story is going within my version of the Snyderverse. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, Hulk smash that subscribe button, and click that notification bell to stay updated on the latest videos. Also, don't forget to check out our merch store, Buy Me a Coffee page, and Amazon affiliate link down in the description and pinned comment below, so you guys can help expand the channel. With all that said and done, I'm JT Anime, I'll check you guys later, and hashtag restore the Snyderverse.